here. Welcome to Cambodia!
Let's talk about visa for Cambodia. Now, the only countries that have exemption for visa are all neighbors of Cambodia, Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, etc. For everyone else, you need a visa, but don't worry, it's super easy and super simple. All you need to do is go to the e-visa website and apply there, and you get it like, what, in a day or something, so it's not difficult at all. What is the best time to visit Cambodia? It has to be the dry season, because I'm sure you can't visit a beautiful island like this during rain, right? So from November all the way till February, March, you have dry season. It does get quite hot, like 32, 33 degrees in the cities, but it's not too bad, honestly, especially when you come to beautiful islands like these. And yes, during the afternoon time, it does get a little murky, but it clears up and it's absolutely beautiful. So you can just sit by the beach and enjoy yourself. For Siem Reap, I would recommend avoiding the afternoon time and just go like, a little bit in the evening. Same goes for Phnom Penh, anywhere on the mainland, and you'll be absolutely fine. So November all the way till March is the best time to visit Cambodia. Let's talk about getting in and around Cambodia. Now, if you are coming by land, it's quite easy. There are bus services. You're coming from the neighboring countries, or you can fly in, like I did. And if you're coming at an international airport, it will most probably be the Phnom Penh International Airport. Siem Reap also has some flights, but not that many, especially coming from like London, etc. So the Phnom Penh International Airport is actually quite nice. They have free Wi-Fi, SIM cards, ATM machines, everything, and you just take a tuk-tuk and you will be in the city in no time. Let's talk about getting around the country. Now, the roads are not good everywhere. Most of the places, they're actually not good. So I would definitely advise against driving, like really advised against it, not just because of the roads, but also because of the traffic. Like literally the first day I saw people like crossing red lights. They come in the opposite direction on one ways. So driving is a no-go here, honestly, unless you're like used to this kind of traffic. The second thing is within the cities, I would recommend you can either hire yourself a motorbike. This is the best way to get around in cities in Cambodia. It's reliable, it's friendly, it's cheap, but don't forget this. It can get you in trouble with the police, and obviously it's really safe to wear this. If you're not a good driver like me, I'm gonna stick to tuk-tuk. Or you can get yourself a Khmer tuk-tuk. This is the proper Cambodian tuk-tuk, and if you want to go around, just talk to one of the guys and he will take you around. And it's really nice because you get to see a lot more, and it's also quite airy, which is really helpful in this weather. Or you can just hand yours, like honestly, just get out and just hand one, and there will be like hail one and you will get a tuk-tuk in no time. But if you really want to be fancy, you can use Grab, which is an app where you can use for food, for taxi, for tuk-tuk, etc., etc. Now, moving between the cities, you can use this website that I use called camboticket.com. They have buses, they have ferries, they have taxis. You can book everything through that website. Ready to spend the night on a bus? Let's go. I love these sleeper buses. They're so cool. I've never done these before. When it comes to ferries for the islands, it is another topic altogether. Now, there are a few different companies, and I would definitely recommend GTVC because they're really good and they stop at every point around the island. I tried Island Speed Ferry and they just dropped me somewhere far away because they didn't want to go there for me. Okay, talking about tours and tour guides in Cambodia. So it's a little bit of a broad topic. For the islands, you don't need any tour guides. You can pretty much do everything on your own. If you just follow my videos or vlogs, you can pretty much do and see most of the things there are. Most of the hotels have a list of things and you can just walk around and find some people. Although I would recommend caution booking anyone on the street because the experience can be pretty average or even below. One thing to note is they don't provide fins for snorkeling. You need to ask them in advance. For Phnom Penh, again, you can do a tour, but honestly, you can just pretty much go around on your own. For Siem Reap as well as Angkor Archaeological Park, you definitely need a tour and a tour guide. So I'm here with Lee, who's from Trusty Tuk Tuk, and he's been taking me around and he's absolutely amazing. I will leave his number and his website below so you can reach out to him. And he knows some good guides in the archaeological park, so he can help you with that as well. So definitely hire a guide, otherwise you wouldn't be able to understand a lot of the context. Otherwise it just look like different buildings and you don't really know much what's happening. So that's my guide to getting a tour and tour guide in Cambodia. So how many days should you spend in Cambodia? Well, it really depends on what you want to do. For a full rounded experience from Siem Reap to the Phnom Penh to the islands and beaches, you need at least, 8 to 10 days. If you want a much quicker thing, I would recommend skipping Phnom Penh and you can just do the Siem Reap and the beaches, and that would be 5 to 6 days at the very least. If you have more time, I would recommend 2 weeks, which I'm spending here, just to get like a good rounded feeling of the entire country. Also, I am skipping the other side, which has the elephant sanctuary. So if that's your thing, you can also do that. But 2 weeks on a leisurely pace is good enough. And if you have a little bit of a rush, then yeah, 5 to 6 days at the very least. Let's talk about language in Cambodia. Now, the main language in Cambodia is Khmer, which is also the national language. And no, it is nothing like Thai. The script is different and they barely understand each other. Apparently, I asked the locals. So that clarified it up for me. The second language you will see around is French because it used to be a French colony. You'll see a lot of names that are very French sounding as well. So English is actually quite frequently spoken here because in every restaurant, hotel, tour agency, you will always find someone who speaks English. If not, in shops, etc., pointing at things solves problems. And where it doesn't, Google Translate helps. But honestly, I've not had to use it more than 2 or 3 times. So it's all good. It's always, the locals are really nice and friendly, so they will try and help you if you are like at a street food stand, someone will be like, okay, what do you want to order? So that's been really, really helpful. So if you speak English or French, you'll be in good hands in Cambodia. Let's talk about money in Cambodia. Now this is the currency of Cambodia and it is called riel. That's what it looks like. Now, unlike other countries where you have the official currency, that is the main source, that's sort of basically everything coded. But in Cambodia, you will have 2 currencies, US dollar as well as the reals. In most ATMs using foreign cards, you will only be able to withdraw US dollars. And I tried at least at the airport in a few ATMs, I have not been able to get this. You only get this as sort of change for US dollars. So unofficially, it is pegged to the US dollars at the rate of 4,000 reals to $1. But you will get the amount quoted in both US dollars and reals everywhere. And even if you use just US dollars, it's still going to be absolutely fine. Although you might get change in both US dollars as well as reals. So there are a lot of banks here, and every single one of them, I haven't been able to find a single bank that doesn't charge you transaction fees. It's $5 to $6 per transaction, $500 capped. So that is something that you can't do without. Card payments are not very common. They have ABA payments, which is a bank here, and I think you need an account for that, so it's kind of useless if you're visiting. So you need cash if you go around, and ATMs are everywhere, so that's quite useful. Contactless card payments are even less because the card payments are less common, so don't rely on that either. Well, to be honest, it's actually not expensive, and you can have a pretty good day in $30 to $50, even less if you're on a budget. There are plenty of hostels, etc., etc. So I would recommend keeping, $30 to $50, maybe more if you're into luxury, but you could get like a really good day in that amount of time. And for that reason, I don't think Cambodia is expensive at all. Food is quite cheap, and getting around is really cheap. And honestly, most of the stuff here, the only thing I could think that is expensive is a couple of tickets, like for Angkor Wat, and that's pretty much it. The hotels really depend on your choice. So, amazing value for money in Cambodia. Talking about the people of Cambodia. Now, the people of Cambodia are called Khmer people, and they are incredibly nice, sweet, humble, and smiley. I don't think I met anyone in day-to-day life that was arrogant or was rude to me. Everyone was absolutely amazing. I didn't get a hint of racism anywhere. They tried their best to help me out everywhere. And anywhere they see you, kind of roaming around on your own, they come and they sort of, try to help you with information if you're looking for any. So I'm really thankful for everyone I met in this trip. I had an absolute blast, and it couldn't have been that nice without the people, right? People make the country. The only exception I would say are the tuk-tuk drivers who do try to rip you off a little bit. We can't have not everyone can be nice in a country, right? But overall, I had a wonderful time. Thank you to everyone in Cambodia. You've been amazing. Mwah. Cambodia is actually a very safe country, especially when you consider their neighbors. They are considered more safe than Thailand or even Vietnam. And it's actually safer than Portugal to visit. Who would have thought, right? So generally, if you're a solo traveler, you shouldn't have any problems. I've been walking around on my own without many issues. Beware though, there are a few scammers, and that's everywhere. Petty crime is a little bit of a thing, so you have to be careful of that as well. But generally, if you keep an eye out, it's generally pretty nice and safe. One thing I was warned of at all times is not to use your phone through an open window or in the tuk-tuk, because people can just snatch it on the way. So just be careful of that and you'll be fine. It's super safe otherwise. Let's talk about SIM cards and internet in Cambodia. There are three main providers: Medphone, Smart, and Cellcard. And Cellcard apparently is the cheapest one, but honestly is generally pretty cheap here. From my personal experience, from the use of it, I would recommend Medphone because I think it has the best coverage. Even when I was on the island, I got a pretty decent coverage. There are blind spots, when you go deeper into the islands, but generally on the beaches, etc., it's pretty good coverage. I got for 2 weeks, I got $7, gave me about 40 gigabytes, and I put $5 on top for calling, and there's no sign of it running out. So it's been honestly great. I really like it. And it's been pretty reliable as well, which is really important, especially on the islands. Talking about the internet, it's actually not that bad. Sometimes it does get a little slow when, in the evenings on the islands when everyone's using phones, but generally it's pretty good. In Cambodia, they use the EU style plugs. So these are the sockets and the plugs that you need to use. But a lot of the hotels also have these 3-pin ones, so you can use them without the converter. But just in case, do come prepared with the EU ones. Unfortunately, you can't drink tap water in Cambodia. I would highly advise against it. And considering the country has such a huge plastic problem, you would think, people would be a little bit more careful, but everywhere you go, you get given these tiny plastic bottles that just keep adding. And people are giving you plastic bags for no reason, even if you buy like a small thing. So please say no to those and get yourself a refillable bottle so you can get a bigger bottle and just keep refilling it. It's really important, especially here. So no to plastic bottles, get yourself one of these, and don't drink tap water here. Look at that absolutely gorgeous beach with perfect white sand. And then this. Unfortunately, Cambodia has a huge trash problem, especially when it comes to single-use plastic. So do your bit and say no to them. And this is not just Cambodia. This is coming from far and wide. Make sure you're not part of any elephant rides when you come to Cambodia, because the animals go through a lot of suffering and a lot of pain just to have a little bit of your fun. So please say no to that. You can go to actual sanctuaries here where you can spend a little bit time, but anything that promises you definitive thing with an animal, always say no to that. Don't let the zebra crossings deceive you, because no one stops for you on these. Also, I've seen people breaking the red lights and just going, they don't really care. And they can be in the wrong lane on the wrong side, so be very careful when you're crossing the roads. Make sure you bring a lot of sunscreen, especially reef-friendly sunscreen for the islands, and bring some glasses, a hat, as well as a lot of insect repellent. Honestly, you will need it because there's a lot of mosquitoes around in Cambodia. If you're coming during the dry season, there's a lot of humidity in the air and you will be sweating a lot. Hello. So make sure you drink a lot of water, and also make sure you either take some salt or electrolyte replacement, otherwise you won't be able to sleep properly. Take it from me. When you visit Buddhist temples, make sure when you're leaving, your back is not towards the statue of Buddha. It is a sign of respect and you should always follow that. Always leave back. This is Brown Boy Travels. Do subscribe, like and share. You can also reach me on Instagram, or you can check full guide on my blog www.brownboytravels.blog. I'll see you in the next video.